Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. We are back again with the fan forum. We've got Aiden, we've got Jake, we've got Rose. The people have been asking for the crew back. You've got it back. You'll get it before every single round of the Autumn Nations. Masterful weekend last time out. But we're going to talk. We're going to look forward. Aiden, you weren't here when we did the review. So I want to hear your thoughts. I'll give you the floor first up.
Yeah,
what was your thoughts on that magical victory over Ireland?
Oh, it just felt good. It felt right, you know. The Irish had a streak going back in 2023. 18 games unbeaten. They're about to take our record. We ended it then. They had 19 games unbeaten at the Aviva. Only felt right to end that one as well. And it felt great listening to the Irish media try and find excuses for that game.
You don't even need to listen to the Irish media. You could have just listened to Tiernan on the previous fan forum.
I mean,
the comments were crazy on that guy because he just doesn't accept it.
Yeah, it was, but I'll give it to most of the Irish fans. Obviously, TikTok gives you a very small representation of a country's fans, but most of the Irish fans are pretty humble in defeat. But oh my goodness, I think the Irish might have the worst media in world rugby, and that's saying something because they come up with the biggest load of bollocks that you've ever heard before every game, and then after the game, Rob Kearney is sitting on national TV saying the All Blacks are scared of Ireland. I don't know any rugby team anywhere in the world that's scared of another team. That's just a load of bollocks. So it felt real good to put those guys in their place. Obviously, it wasn't a great performance from either side, but a win's a win.
Yeah.
And then
you can look at it two different ways, right? It's either Ireland didn't have a good performance, but then how much of those errors were forced by New Zealand? I thought the defensive line speed and stuff was crazy good from the All Blacks.
Yeah, I think
the credit.
Yeah, the defense on our side was definitely a huge strong point, and I think a huge credit of that game actually goes to Damien McKenzie. I know he'd been giving a lot of flack, but the way he controlled that game, which was a very different style of game for him, he was very managed. He was very good at controlling territory. All his kicks were contestable when they needed to be, and it just held the Irish in their own area of the park, and it made it really difficult for them to gain any momentum other than individual brilliance sort of things.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, in the end, you'll take the victory. You've got it over England. You've got it over Ireland. Obviously, we're looking forward to France. But before we start talking about this weekend, Jake had his say as well on the previous episode. But someone that hasn't been on here for a little while, that probably doesn't even want to be on this one after this weekend's performance. Rose, how are we feeling? After another defeat at the Alien Stadium.
I know, it's disappointing. It's not the most amazing time to be an England fan right now. But I will say, after watching that game, I didn't come away with the same feeling of defeat and heartbreak that I did after losing to the All Blacks, because it was just such a brilliant game. As a rugby fan, I was just so happy to have watched that game. It was insane. And obviously, that last-minute try was really sad. But I came away from it thinking England didn't play that badly. The Wallabies were just brilliant. So I wasn't too defeated by it. Obviously, it's a common pattern now that England cannot close out games, and it's something that's worrying for the future. What are you laughing about?
Jake does not agree at all. Jake is holding in his emotions not to interrupt us at the moment.
What the fuck are you talking about? Is it Australia we're talking about?
No. But
Rose, did you not see Jake's passionate rant on TikTok? I posted it in the previous video as well.
No, listen, guys. The Wallabies were incredible. Some of their players had, sensational performances. They were brilliant. I didn't think England played badly. I just thought Australia were great. And obviously, it's the same theme. We can't close out games. It's something we need to work on. But overall, what an amazing game of rugby. I wasn't too depressed.
While you didn't play badly, you let in 42 points.
And
I know, but
30 missed tackles in 50 minutes.
Yeah, 30 missed tackles in 50 minutes is outrageous.
I've never seen a stat like that. Never.
I know. I recognise that. But when I say like England had also like periods of complete dominance as well, particularly in the first half of the game. And I think at some point you need to not criticize England and actually give some credit to Australia that
Of
like
course.
they
It was
created that.
sensational.
That wasn't
Like, shut up.
necessarily huge defensive errors by England. That was just stop laughing at me.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to what we talked about the last time we were all on together about the English like defense and their defense style. Yes, the blitz attack, or the blitz defense rather, opens up more opportunities for missed tackles, but like it's the same areas being exploited game in, game again, and the Wallabies just did that really well. And so if teams can look at your defense and go, okay, this is what we need to do to sort of counteract that, you've got to make a change or get better at implementing it or something, because it's not working right now. And this time it didn't not work for 20 minutes. It didn't work for 60. So
They got punished. Listen, that defense
No, we did,
got
but it was
punished.
also nice to see England play more ball in hand. There were times where our attack looked like really together, like really threatening. I didn't come out of that game thinking this is all really negative. I really didn't. And I think a lot of English fans will agree with me. I think we played a pretty good game of rugby. Like, I know the defence is an issue. It's been an issue for ages. I know we let in 42 points, but that's not because our defence was worse than it usually is. That was just because the Wallabies managed to like play it to their advantage better than other teams have. So I don't think it's necessarily that our defence got worse. Like, the same issues are there, but like our attack looks promising. Some players had great performances. Our number 10, Marcus Smith, is the form 10 in the world at the moment. He had an incredible game. There were a lot of promising aspects within that game. So yeah, I didn't say
Like,
share the same sentiment as Jake did.
What's your response on all of that?
That was absolute shit. The whole game, the whole England performance was absolute shit. I mean, missing that many tackles, whatever team it is not good enough. Like, it's not good enough. Yes, Australia played well. They played probably the best game they played this year, and they put in like an 80-minute performance. But England should still not be losing that at home. We should be winning. We lost the game twice. How do you manage to lose the game twice in the last 10 minutes? I can't believe that. We lose that many games, we lost it twice. Marcus Smith, he's world class, except when he has to make a tackle in the final seconds. But yeah, other than that, Marcus Smith was brilliant. He only missed half his kicks. I don't know. It's frustrating. I don't know what to say. But I'll tell you what, I definitely wasn't not depressed at the end of that game. Fucking hell, I've been way more depressed than I was against New Zealand. We lost against a good side that week. This side, we lost to a shit one.
They weren't a shit side though.
That's what I've been. Jake, I told you this, right? Because I don't know what this expectation is of England. I think they're a terrible team at the moment. Like we're going to talk about our preview, right? But I mentioned it the previous time. You're not even losing to the good teams. Like, you're losing to teams with massive caveats over their names. Like, it's crazy. You're not.
I'm so sick of this negative rhetoric surrounding England. The last 5 games that we've lost have been against world-class teams. I don't care, Jake, what you say about Australia. They were world-class last weekend. It's widely agreed amongst the kind of rugby community that was
They conceded 65 points against Argentina.
Pardon?
They conceded 65 points against Argentina. That same team.
Don't stop with that, because you know how well they played. They played a brilliant game of rugby. I'm sick of this negativity surrounding England. Let's look forward and be more positive, because I don't think it's all negative. I'm excited for the Springbok game, and I don't think it's going to be as convincing for the Springboks as people think.
Let's start looking ahead. Let's not start with England and South Africa, because we spoke about England for a while now, and no one cares about England. Let's start off with a big game. We've got Ireland versus Argentina Friday night. I'm of the point of view that performance against the All Blacks, it was a trash performance by Ireland, was a great performance by the All Blacks, but I think that was kind of like a one-off. They might have been caught a bit cold or whatever. You could see the chemistry, or it wasn't really flowing like that. But they're playing kind of the perfect team to bounce back again against. Like, Argentina is not great at defense. They will not rush you in defense. They will give you all the time in the world. And if you give a system like Ireland any opportunities, they will put you to the sword. They are very clinical. And that is kind of where Italy just fell through. They weren't clinical enough, and Argentina scored on the counter-attack. Ireland's are not going to do that. I really think they put on a beating on Argentina, and I like Argentina. but I just feel like this is the perfect opposition for Ireland to bounce back again. Aiden?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be a bit worried if I was an Argentinian fan. You know, the Irish team, they're a quality side, and they're definitely going to bounce back after what they will class as one of their worst performances ever. Couple that with the fact there's a law more consistent than gravity in play, with Argentina having a terrible performance after a great performance. So
The consistency of inconsistency.
Yeah, I mean, they do it every time. It started out as a little, they'll play well, then they'll play bad. But now it's fact. You know, they're going to turn up. They could turn up with a team of, under 12s and it'll be the same result. So
if they had to play this weekend against Italy, they would lose.
Yeah, I genuinely think we could be. I mean, I love the Argentinian team, and they actually have some real class throughout the team. But I genuinely think we could see a game where Ireland win by 35, 40 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not playing England, mate. It's quite a lot.
I think it all happen in the first 20 minutes. It'll be competitive for the first, 15, 20.
What do you mean? Of course they're not playing England because they'd lose to England.
Yeah. And then I just think the tries will come thick and fast. And I feel like the Argentinian team can just get that defeatist attitude when things go bad quickly.
It's kind of that team where it's like, as soon as they win a game, it's like, okay, we are elite. And then they have to lose that game. And then it's like, okay, well, we have to prove that we are not dog shit. And it's just like a continuous thing the whole time. Jake, yeah. What's your thoughts on Friday night's game?
I mean, you're saying earlier about Italy dropping ball and Argentina punishing them, and Ireland dropped the ball about 10 times in that game. So you never know. Argentina could be. If Ireland play like they did last week, Argentina could win because they weren't good in attack, they weren't clinical, they didn't have any good shapes. So yeah, I don't know. I can't see Ireland being that poor again. So I would imagine Ireland get the win, but I think it would be within 14 points if Argentina sharp.
Don't you think Ireland just added like a once-off performance?
Yeah, I think that was a once-off bad performance, and I want to see Argentina really prove that, become that not inconsistency. I want to see them be consistent and push Ireland at least.
Fair. Rose?
I mean, I kind of just agree with what you've all said. I think Ireland were just a bit rusty and needed that time to kind of gel together a bit, and they've had that now. That was their one-off game that they're allowed. If they perform badly again this week, we can put them under more scrutiny, but I think they have this one in the bag fairly easily. I think they'll take it by about 15 points. I think it will be a pretty good game, but yeah, I think Ireland and the Aviva, like, that team is really, really strong. I think they'll take it pretty convincingly.
Yeah, that's the vibes that I get from it as well. Aiden's probably just sorting something out in the background.
I want to predict what Aiden's having for breakfast as well. I'm predicting.
Yeah, because obviously Aiden is back in New Zealand for a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's early doors for him out there. Anyway. Yeah, so we all agree that Ireland just bounced back. They get the victory over the Pumas. Because I saw, like, on a lot of my TikTok posts and stuff, I don't know if they're just bantering, because obviously I'm a Safa, so, like, most of the people hate on Ireland. But I've seen, like, people calling for Los Pumas to actually get it done, like, by 6 or 7 points. And I just can't see that happening.
No, I don't think.
Can you guys imagine a world where they actually get it done?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it so far in this Autumn Nation series. There have been some, like, crazy results that nobody expected. It's been really unpredictable. Like, nothing is impossible at the moment in rugby. Teams, like the best teams in the world, can have really off days. Slightly lower teams can have amazing days. We saw that with the Wallabies last weekend. It's possible. It's unlikely, but I don't think it's impossible whatsoever.
Jake, can you imagine a world?
I can. Look, it's one of these things. I can see them winning, but I don't think they will. I think it's just a year or two too early in Argentina's development, really. But I'm just looking at Ireland's team. They've got this Clarkson guy, and I think it's a debutant, and Prendergast is on the bench, and he's a very inexperienced 10, so he might have to see out the game. So we never know. Depends what Argentina, how strong they can be off the bench. But I still think Ireland will win.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on. Scotland versus Portugal. We're not going to chat about it. We all probably just agree they put like 40 points on Portugal. I mean,
hope
Portugal.
On,
Portugal do
on Scotland.
Well,
On
Portugal
Scotland.
lost to USA. I think it's USA. Was it USA that they lost against? Let me actually check.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, they're gonna get hammered by Scotland, but I don't
No,
imagine Scotland.
I
will put
think
out their
everyone
strongest
around
team.
the world will be rooting for Portugal, and I hope and pray they do well. but
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know how
they're
likely
supposed
it
to,
is.
but then they lose to America. Are you kidding me?
No, I know, but we can pray. It would be quite nice to see Scotland get beat by Portugal.
Okay, Aiden, let's talk about your team.
Yeah.
Taking on the team that
Devil.
shall not be named, the Devil, revenge of the World Cup opening game.
Yeah, I mean, that
Massive
was
fixture.
it was the first time we've ever lost a pool match in the World Cup, which is outrageous.
But we spoke about this the previous time, right before you played Ireland. When there's something to play for the All Blacks, they will pitch up. You can never write them off. They're finding their feet now. You've got the World Cup revenge story. You've got this, what's happening next year. Do you put them to the sword at home ground?
I'm here for it. I desperately, I actually care about this game more than I care about the Irish game, because the Irish game, it's more like online media stuff. This is personal. These guys are disrespectful to international rugby. They don't deserve to play amongst the other teams if they're not going to put forward teams like everybody else. They only care about their club rugby money, and you know what? I want to see them get absolutely walloped. Cam Roygaard's going to start, in my opinion, and he's going to absolutely pocket DuPont, and DuPont's not going to know what bloody hit him. I hope it's an absolute thrashing. Buddy, Japan almost scored first against them. We're going to absolutely knock them down a peg. I'm not
no
even going to.
as well. No Pino.
No Pino.
I think your team matches up very, very well against them.
Yeah, well, Pino's just a worse Will Jordan anyways. So this game, there's no holds bar. I'm not going to give them the respect that I give every other team because they don't deserve it. They've got great players, sure. But they're going to get absolutely thumped.
I like it. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
You know what? I might have to back France here just to see Aiden's absolute meltdown if they lose.
Don't let me beep you out. Yeah, we will not be saying their name. They will be called them.
But then they take their first team to us, so I like them.
It's fine. We can call them France, but I'll refer to them as Satan.
No, it is disrespectful. I called them that before all this controversy, to be honest. But it is just disrespectful how they won't take their strongest team to the Southern Hemisphere. So I do hope they lose. I hope all their fans see them absolutely battering and lose all their money on that wasted French performance. But no, come on, DuPont is going to destroy Roygaard. Well, it is because they'd rather watch top 14. I see it in the comments. We'd rather see top 14 final than the
No, a couple of comments isn't reflective of the entire consensus within French fans.
No, but it is. I think it is actually. I think there's a lot of them that
setup, not the French fans.
No. Well, we're not blaming the French fans. We are blaming the.
That's what Jake was doing.
Oh, sorry. No, but Jake is just silly, right? I think it's like rugby in the end, right? I know it's cliche, but rugby should be the winner. We should all be there to try and grow the sport, right? I mean, how many of these like, let's say, New Zealand's losing so much money by France not sending their strongest team. Imagine you had the British and Irish Lions with Australia, and you had the French touring New Zealand. It would have been class. That would have been class. Now you get these young guys and whatever, and they're like, I just want to see, for instance, the best player in the world, Antoine Dupont, right? They want to come out and see that, but now they have to sit there and see some weird guy. Like, imagine how the French would feel if you sent NPC guys. They would feel so disrespected. It would feel like a slap in the face. I just think it's super disrespectful
Yeah,
and taking a lot of money away from New Zealand rugby, and then expect everyone to travel there. Well, they literally stole the World Cup from South Africa. That's why I'm actually still angry at that, because the previous World Cup, if you guys didn't know, should have been South Africa's one, but they stole it.
No, the funny thing is that the French fans don't even realise that like what they do is just like so disrespectful. They're just like, oh, it's what we do. We just the C team, and then they go away, and they're just like, oh, that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's like they're dumb.
But that's why no one puts the respect on their players that they probably deserve, because it's like it's just home ground bullying the whole time.
I mean, I've said it before in a video. It's like there's no doubting that Mr. Antoine Dupont is a world-class player, but I don't think he gets deserved to be called the best player in the world if he only plays in the same place. Like, he's just not proving his world-class ability throughout the world like every other player who's in the GOAT debate is.
30 minutes outside of Europe.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it was in like 2017. Like, it was so long ago. He doesn't know what it's like to play at Ellis Park, one of the most hostile environments in the world. He doesn't know what it's like to be booed by the fans and have stuff thrown at him as he comes in the ground like some of the All Blacks players do. They love it. They're not against it. He doesn't know what it's like to go to Eden Park and lose like every other team has since 1994. He just doesn't know what that is like. Even Argentina, where they play in like 1,000,000 degrees. Like, he just doesn't deserve to be called the GOAT if he doesn't play everywhere.
That's why. But anyway, let's get back onto the game. There's not a chat about that. Rose, your thoughts? Obviously, Aiden, he wants to spank the French boys. What's your opinion on the game?
I don't know. It's interesting because people are kind of arguing that the French didn't have their best performance last weekend. It means they're going to lose this weekend. But like the same goes for Ireland, and we've just predicted them to thump Argentina. So I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think they were getting back into it a little bit. And first games can always be a little bit rusty for a team. So I don't think that's necessarily reflective of France's form being off at the moment. I think it will be a great game. I think it will be really close. I have predicted previously that France will win by 3 points, or it will be very close. I think home advantage will just take them slightly over the line. And in the last 2 games we've seen from New Zealand, we haven't seen anything brilliant. I'm not saying you were that bad last week, but we haven't seen anything outstanding. So yeah, I think France will just take it.
I actually disagree a bit.
Yeah, you say just then that sorry, Casual, real quickly. You say just then that if people think France didn't perform that well against Japan and that they're predicting the All Blacks to win. Everything I have seen online, bar 1 or 2 comments, is predicting France to win. It's like last week all over again. Like, we've gone into the Irish game.
In my comment sections, everyone is predicting New Zealand. Like, everybody.
I bet those are New Zealanders.
Possibly. It's either New Zealanders or South Africans who also hate the French. So
yeah.
I'm backing New Zealand all the way. Right? I think New Zealand's finding their stride now. I thought it was a very, very good performance against Ireland. I was really impressed. Like I've said it before, I thought Ireland were lucky to be in 10 points margin. That's how good New Zealand was, right? After that first half, we all spoke about it. Like, if there was more discipline calls from the ref on New Zealand side, you would have been in the lead by 20 by halftime. It was ridiculous. And I just don't. I think the French power that they talk about is overrated. I've never seen them blitz scrums really, unless it's England's against Ellis Genge and Will Stewart, right? But you look at that forward back of New Zealand, Tyrell Lomax, Tamaiti Williams, Ofa Tuangafasi's playing some really good rugby from the bench. Cody Taylor's back. You have a Safa Mua who had a great game. You will match up pretty well there. And the Lucies, Wallace Atiti, Ari Savaya, they'll be ready. They'll be up for it. Cam Roy he'll be hungry getting his first start. Don't even get me started. Do you think you get Byron Barrett back?
Yeah, 10? I think they'll put him. I'm guessing they'll put him in that 23 jersey.
Yeah, because D-Mac had man of the match performance.
Yeah, so D-Mac at 10, Will Jordan at 15, and Bodie to come on and steady the ship at probably 15.
Yeah, fair enough.
And Will Jordan will move to the wing, and they'll take a winger off.
Probably Mark Talaya, because you just can't take off Caleb Clark, because the French kick the ball more than anyone. Yeah. Did Did someone else tell me? One of you guys maybe tell me, but Japan in that game had about 200 or 250 more run meters than France. Yet they conceded like 40 points more than the French. That is crazy to think about. Like the French just booted up high. You need Caleb Clark on the field the whole time. You need steady hands on that one. But yeah, I'm going New Zealand by 8 points. Jake?
I don't know what to say. I think that France haven't played in a high pressure game since that last one of the Six Nations against us. So it's been a long time, over 6 months really, since they've played a big test match against a top team. Or you're going to say England are a top team, but still, that was a great game.
Not a big test match because both of you guys were kind of out of it already.
No. I think France, if they turn up, they'll win because for me, they're second or third best team in the world. If maybe even higher, they're absolute class on their day, and they thumped you in that World Cup opener, and they were more physical than you, South Africa, in that quarterfinal. They probably bottled it. They probably should have won that game. I thought they were the better team.
How were they more physical?
Did
you look at the scrum penalties?
I don't care about the scrum penalties. I mean, in the actual breakdown at the rucks, their forwards, their tries came through their forwards. Your tries came through kicks and mishandling of their backs. For me, France, a powerful team.
You watched Chasing the Sun. You haven't seen the strategies.
They're a powerful team. The top 14 is physical, it's brutal. It's not flair. It's probably less entertaining rugby than the URC and Premiership, but it's big and powerful. And if they turn up, I see them winning.
Physicality is one of the most overrated things in the world. I haven't even seen it on display.
I think they'll win it. I think they'll win.
That home opening game in the World Cup, the scoreline does flatter them a bit. They scored a luck of the bounce try in the last minute to win the game, or to put it to like 11 points or whatever it was. Like that really extended the scoreline more than the game actually reflected. But yes, I just think that was their biggest game of the tournament. That's the best game they've played in years. That first game, they had their home World Cup crowd behind them. It doesn't get more one-sided than that in terms of support and home field advantage. But I just think this French team, they're good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're good. But you said you think they're second or third in the world. We are second in the world.
They're better than you. If they turn up and play their best, they're better than you. They're 100%.
Okay, but put it this way: the games we've won,
if they turn up,
they did have a very bad Six Nations. They're a terrible Six Nations by their own standards. And DuPont was missing, sure, Unsmack still wasn't back, and this sort of thing. But if they have all their best players and they play, well, they will beat you.
Put it this way: the games that we've played, New Zealand have played this year, we haven't clicked in any of them. But what this team is doing, this New Zealand team, which I'm really impressed with, is winning gritty. We've played rubbish and still got across the line. You can't say that if they play well, they'll beat us. We haven't played great yet. Even that Irish test, there was a lot lacking. The whole performance was complete, and we played the game that needed to be played to win, especially in wet, slippery weather. But things have not fully clicked yet, and some of our attack, if those offloads go to hand, some of those games we're up by 20 points at halftime rather than being up by 5. So I think there's a lot being overlooked. And yes, I'm a biased Kiwi supporter. But I think if both teams are at their peak, I think we absolutely smash France.
In the end, right, I know there's home ground advantage. I don't think you smash them. I think it is a close game. But I think when it boils down to it, I think there's emotion involved in this one. New Zealand will feel hyped up with this one. Obviously, if you win this one, what a sensational tour you've had. Like people telling you, listen, you're going to lose 3 out of them, right? But then you actually get over the line, and with all 3 of them, that would be sensational. Who are you playing next?
Italy. I said 5 from 5 right at the start, and everyone called me crazy. Now I'm sitting here, realistically, one game that we have to win to get 5 from 5. Because as much as I like Italy, we should win that comfortably. I mean, the last time we played them, we put 100 points on them. So, come on.
It would be crazy if you lost that one.
But yes.
And obviously there's no Pinot Pinot's massive for France. Like, they've got Dupont, they've got Ramos. Aldry's still good, but if you look at the stars of the All Blacks team, you've got stars as well that match up pretty well, in my opinion.
I think so.
Jake, you're shaking your head for absolutely no reason.
Jake,
you are disagreeing. Jake, you are disagreeing just to disagree.
I'm not. They're a quality team, you know, like Dante and Fiku in the centres, and
Dante hasn't been good in like 4 years.
Yes, he has. Don't listen to that. He's not been the best, but he's still been good. Gelonch, Olivon, Ruma, so many great French players.
If we had to do a combined 15, who gets more players into it?
French.
I think the French. Genuinely. That's completely unbiased. I love this All Black side, but I think the French just get a couple.
That's the first time I've heard you say that. You're just using that for the sake of the argument.
Well, me? No, genuinely, I do. I really like the All Blacks team.
Do you want to go through it, or do you not want to go to that right now? But I can go through it. I'll be happy to go through it and have this debate.
Let's quickly rush through it, right?
Right. 1, Cyril By.
2, Cody Taylor.
Cody
Taylor's the in-form hooker
he's
in the world.
He's injured, so it doesn't matter anyway.
No, he's not. Cody Taylor's back for this one.
Is he not? Well, you know what? I think Malvaca was one of France's best players in the World Cup. I'll say Malvaca.
Yeah, and he was one of their worst players in the Six Nations. He was one of their worst in the Six Nations.
You got Marchand. They got the best two hookers starting and bench in Malvaca and Marchand. It's better than South Africa, better than France, better than England, better than anyone.
It's not better than Bongi and Michael Mark.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
Yeah,
Cody Taylor has been the form hooker this year.
Dan Sheehan and Ronan.
Number three is definitely Antonio.
No,
Antonio is number 3. I'm telling you, Antonio is number 3.
No, it's Tyrell Lomax. Tyrell Lomax, right? I would take him at South Africa. That's how good he is.
You just say Antonio, but you don't watch France. Number 4, okay, I'll give Scott Barrett. Number 5, Flamand, easy.
Sure. Yeah. 6, Satiti.
Yeah. 7, Gelonch, easy.
8, Savia.
8, Aldry.
No, go Savia.
9,
Dupont. 10,
sure. Intermac's not playing.
Intermac's not playing, bro.
Okay, Jalibert, I'll take him over D-Mac.
Jalibert's also not. They've got Tomo Ramos at 10 at the moment.
Jalibert was on the bench last week.
Yeah, but Ramos is playing 10.
Jalibert was on the bench, so he's playing.
You're taking him over Bowden Barrett. I'm not taking him over Bowden
Yes, I am. 100%. 100%. Right now, yeah.
Okay, so who's kicking?
I don't care. Ramos or something. I don't care about the kicking. It's just a theoretical team, Casual. It's not an actual team.
Jordy Barrett goes inside centre. Gael Fiku goes outside centre.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Both wings are All Blacks.
Yeah.
Caleb Clark, Mark Talaya, Will Jordan fullback.
Exactly, France. Let's move on.
That wasn't even close. It was like 9-6.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Of course, the South boys, we are backing the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And the North backing...
I swear the point was an on-form, fit French team with all their players. That was the argument. In which case, they would get more.
I can just say, I want New Zealand to win. I think France will. I think they're a quality side.
I don't disagree. I think they're a good side.
You were chatting like you're a French, like you're a French supporter.
The English don't traditionally like the French. He would have no reason to want to support the French. But I agree. I think France will win.
I'm scarred from Six Nations 2023, but they absolutely ripped us apart and put about 50 on us at the Allianz Stadium. I was Twickenham back then, but still, I'm still getting nightmares of that game. And if they turn up, they will smash New Zealand.
What was it, 52-13 or something?
Let's actually use that and move over to the South Africa versus England game, right? Aidan, what would you do if you saw the All Blacks conceding 52 and 42 points at home? That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I said on my latest video, I'm like, I'll be a worried English fan, because watch this. If you lose this, 6 on the trot, you're just becoming Wales at this point. I don't know what you guys are going to do, because if your game management...
It's very on par with Wales, because they also lost to Fiji.
Yeah. What are you going to... If your game management hasn't worked against, New Zealand and Australia, who, they're still good teams. They're not South Africa, right? South Africa are the best team in the world for a reason. They have ridiculous depth in their team, in their bench, in the people that don't even get to play. England, I think, have in their 23 starting squad, I think they have 13 great players. Whereas South Africa have 40 great players.
It's not even that, Aidan. It's not even that, right? I think the massive difference is the one team has a good coach and the other team has not got a good coach. And
Yeah,
it's like he doesn't understand his players. It's like he's coaching from a notebook. It is ridiculous. I think there is a lot of talent in this England team. They should be performing a lot better. You look at that team and you're like, well, okay, they are pulling the games close, but they're losing all of those games. But if they play New Zealand 3 times, they should be maybe winning 1, right? They should be beating the Wallabies. They should pull South Africa very close, and it shouldn't be a surprise if they pulled one over South Africa at the Allianz Stadium. That is how good that team is. The coach is not up to standard, and you can see it. It is ridiculous.
and it's upsetting because
Jake, do you have any hope for this game?
You can't. Yeah, I do have hope. I don't think we'll win. I don't think we'll win, but of course we can win. We have a quality outfit, and we lost to you in the last minute by a point last year. So yeah, of course we can win, but it's just we've got a lot of injuries, a lot of people out right now. We've been robbed of the Tom Curry matchup with Bongi, which is that's crazy. Favour Boso's now injured as well, so I don't know. I think South Africa will win, but we could do it. I don't know.
Rose told me she has a sneaky feeling that England will win.
Would you go away, please? That's a private comment, because outwardly I'm also predicting South Africa to win. That is the logical prediction. I think we were talking about rugby phenomenons earlier, with Argentina always playing a good game and a bad game, things like that. They just seem to happen. It's weird, but they happen. England always show up against South Africa. In the past couple of years anyway, whether we win... No. Hear me out. I'm not saying we win, but we kind of defy the current form that we're on and step it up a level. We saw it in the World Cup last year. We were not playing good rugby. We lost to Fiji, 3 weeks prior? And then we went and we nearly beat who went on to be the world champions. And I know it's the same story where a lot of people can, said we should have won that game and then we ended up not being able to win that game. But we do tend to step it up against South Africa. I don't know what it is. I think we'll give them a close game, genuinely. I think we're going to be so angry after the past few games and how close they've been and how much we should have won on paper. I think we're going to be fired up. I think our players are great. We're both, so I think, is the biggest loss, which is really disappointing. But we have replacements. We have Slight Home. Roebuck's been called up. These are quality players. I think our team's great. The Springboks are obviously amazing. Widely considered best team in the world at the moment. They'll probably win, but I don't think it would be impossible for us to win by a small margin either.
You know what's the worst thing that could possibly happen for England? It's the fact that the Boks had a bad performance against Scotland. Because now people are criticizing us. And now we know we have to step up. So you might be fired up. You don't think those guys that run onto the field now for the Boks jersey will be fired up? Rusty probably went off on them.
No, I don't think they will.
He was very angry at the presser. They said it's unacceptable. They will be fired up running out.
No, they won't, because England will have the same players this weekend that we've had the past 2 games who have lost the games. South Africa's team will change. South Africa's team will change. They will not have the same players as last weekend.
Rose.
A lot of them will be gone.
Yes, we will. They just came off the bench.
A lot of them will be gone. You're not going to start the same team as you started against
Scotland. How many last-minute losses does one team need to be motivated? You keep using it as they're going to be upset, they're going to be angry. They would have been upset against France.
Guys,
they would have been upset in New Zealand the first time. They would have been upset in New Zealand the second time. They would have been upset in Twickenham against New Zealand. They would have been upset against Australia. How many times can we use this as they're going to be motivated for this game?
Aidan, will you please have some sympathy? It's been 5 games since I've seen my supposedly top 5 team win. I'm trying to have some hope. Let me have it, please. You guys, none of you can sit here and say that it's impossible that England will win. Casual even said it to me earlier, which he won't reveal now, but he said it's definitely... Like, he's going to
It's
deny
possible,
now.
Well,
yes, but I could also
I've been
win the lottery
predicting all the
tomorrow.
way that England will be lucky to get within 18 points. I just
Yeah,
don't see where you
in
get the up.
public.
The only way that England somehow pull something out of the bag, if this is like the semi-final where it's just drenched in rain and they just bomb it high in the air for Johnny. They pull out Johnny May from retirement and Freddie Stewart, where it's just two guys towering over us, and you just bomb it into the air. But you've got no Alex Mitchell that put the ball pinpoint. You have no Owen Farrell. You've got no Freddie Stewart. Well, Freddie Stewart
we've
might
got
actually play.
Marcus Smith, and he's world
What, to
class.
bomb it into the air?
Pardon?
Marcus Smith magic is not going to happen with Peter Steph do tackle running down on him. Like Richie
By the
Mwanga
way,
is
the weather is
Richie Mwanga
nice
is 13 times the player that Marcus Smith could dream of being, and he got smoked by Eben Etzebeth and Peter Steph to tackle in that World Cup final. Aiden would know that still haunts him.
No,
Right?
Yeah, it's more
You
Jordy
won't
Barrett.
have you
Still
won't
missing
have
some
that
ribs.
time that you won't have that time and space that Australia gives you.
I don't. I so much of what you just said is wrong. Also, just a side note, the weather has been awful in England at the moment, so the weather might win it for us, and I will feel no shame in that whatsoever.
It's been dry. It's been dry.
No, it hasn't. It's rained constantly where I am.
It's been dry. It's been dry in the southeast.
Listen, I'm going to be at that game, and I think I'm going to bring my positive aura to the ground, and it will secure us a win. I genuinely have hope. I think South Africa will win, but I think we'll give them a close game. I genuinely.
We'll see some Marnie Lubbock magic.
No.
It's been nearly 2 years under dark times Eddie Jones, and a young fresh-faced Jake went to the Allianz Stadium and saw South Africa absolutely destroy England in front of my eyes, and I wept. And so I don't know what performances, Rose, you said that we've had in the last 2 years, 3 years.
No. We played very well against them in the World Cup, and then we beat them the year before that loss. So
our greatest players in that game were
Rose
Darryl,
keep on
Johnny
referencing
May.
a 2021 victory by 1 point.
Our greatest players in that game in the World Cup semi-final were Courtney Laws, Owen Farrell, Johnny May. They're all gone. So, Freddie Stewart's not even in the team. He's like third choice behind Smith, Marcus Smith and Furbank.
No,
at 15, it seems.
I think Stewart's in with the shout for this game.
Oh, he is.
It'd be a brilliant idea, chucking Freddie Stewart, the man who moves like a snail, against Cheslin Colby, Kurtley Aronser, and Upper Lile Fassi.
We know he plays well against South Africa.
Listen, if Freddie Stewart will be a useless selection. If they choose Freddie, it's going to be high ball. Because especially now that you can't put up the Great Wall of China as like an obstruction thing. So it's just fair contest. But then if Freddie Stewart's there, I'll just one up it and say, okay, well, we'll just play Apelile Fassi, who just does not knock a ball. I think he's better than Freddie Stewart in there.
Yeah, but you probably won't. I think it's more likely that we'll... Do you think Fassi will start?
Yeah, I think Villy's on the bench.
Okay.
Same as the World Cup semi-final where Pollard and Villy's on the bench. I think we go 6-2 without a scrum off on the bench.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the scrum yet. Should we talk about the scrum? What's going to happen there?
Why are you laughing, Jake?
Do you think Dan Cole starts again, seeing that he started so well in the World Cup against us?
I'm going to say, Rose, if I don't laugh, it'll be tears. So
yeah, no, that's valid, to be fair.
To be fair, Genge and Will Stewart, I thought they were weaker than the New Zealand scrum, theoretically, and Australia's. Tupou and Bell were great scrummagers, and they beat both of those scrums. So maybe give them a go against South Africa, and they might be all right this time. I don't know. But
you guys
off
keep
the bench,
front up at the start, but then it's like the bench.
Well, that was Marler and Cole. So if Stewart and Genge can hold this, and then Cole and Baxter should do fine off the bench. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can hold it. If we hold it, we've automatically got like a way greater chance of making this a really close game.
I think the scrum is always so significant with South Africa. If, like Jake said, if our scrum can hold up, then we'll have a much likelier chance of doing well against you.
Well, let me ask you guys like this, and we'll wrap up on this. Aiden, let's go to you first. Where does England win? If England wins this game, where do they get the advantages? Where do they actually win it?
I don't know about advantages, but I'll go back to what I said a few games ago. They have to make it gritty. They have to keep the ball tight. I don't think they're going to exploit the wide channels, especially without FairWeatherRugby, who I think is their best player at the moment, and he is sensational. I think they just have to truck it up the middle of the park, because even though I think South Africa are a more physical side, you do have the advantage going forward rather than defending. You tend to make ground going forward, even if it is little by little. So I think if they keep it in the forward pack competes. As you said, the scrum has to hold up, just has to. Set piece has to be perfect. And then, I think if it's going to be wet, bomb it to the sky, because it's 50-50 ball, especially with the new rules. You can't block the chasers.
I love that rule, by the way.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it's the same with you can't have your own player in front of the 9 that's going to do the box kick, right? So it just makes even that more contestable. That finally we've got some rules that actually improves. So
it's interesting though, because that rule the rule they've introduced for the halfback and the no blocking would have really damaged the old South African rugby. Before you guys have changed to this new style with Tony Brown, this really exciting attacking flair as well as your forward strength. You guys used to be the box kick team. That was you guys. And you guys would have really struggled with this new rules. But I think now, perfect for you.
Well, we're adapting. But let's go to Jake. Jake, I don't know if you saw, but Andre Esterhuizen, I'm getting a feeling he might start over Damian de Allende, because he said he's looking forward to running down on Marcus Smith instead of running alongside him. And Andre Esterhuizen had a very, very good game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him at 12. I would definitely rather play Damian de Allende, but that makes the interesting shout. Where does England win this game? Or
I mean, I thought you were going to say more. I mean, whether it's Esterhuizen or de Allende, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I don't think that's going to be where England attack. Well, maybe it is, because they don't want to go wide, but Esterhuizen had a great game last week, you're right, and he was really physical. So it'd be interesting, but Ollie Lawrence and Henry Slade will be used to him, so that's not going to be an issue area. I mean, look, we've got Ollie Chester.
Ollie Lawrence and Henry Slade combined missed like 8 tackles last week.
Ollie Chessum, George Martin, Tom Curry, Sam Underhill, maybe. These are all players who are out, big physical players for England who start. So it's a real shame, because what we did last time in the semi-final was sort of front up physically, and we don't even have all the players for that anymore. I mean, I don't know. It's Cunningham South. It'll be a big test for him, another one. So hopefully he can continue his good form. But I don't know where we're going to get at it. It's probably kicks, maybe not like high balls, but chips in behind. We scored a grubber. I think it was Marcus Smith to slight home against Australia. So that sort of thing, maybe luck of a ball, bounce of the ball.
Yeah, Smith's got to play it from a bit deeper with the Rusty Finch, probably. Rose, you're optimistic. Where do you find the opportunities?
I don't think we're going to win, but I think we're going to get... No. But I don't think we'll find... I think that's the point. But I do think with Marcus Smith fucking all of the Springbok players over, his step is crazy, his chip is crazy. Like, if he's on form, if he plays well, if he brings a little bit of his magic, I think it's close. Also,
can we stop talking about this Marcus Smith step thing, which he hasn't actually showed on the international stage in like 2 years? Not really. A lot of his
he
play
really has.
Australia,
that's so unfair. He's been phenomenal.
A lot of his
English
play against
Civil War.
A lot of his play against Australia
He's a
was like ball
George
in
Ford
hand.
fan. That's why.
No, I'm not. I'm a fan of all three, but could just say that what Marcus Smith has to fucking do is kick his fucking kicks, because I'm not having this anymore. He's not kicking enough. This is against South Africa. You have to kick your kicks, and he kicks some right, but he's got to be like 80% at least.
He won the game against South Africa in 2021 with his last.
He kicked a penalty from right out in front.
One of you guys bring up the New Zealand game, or someone in the comments, they were easy kicks. I don't want to hear that game as an example. He's got to kick the hard ones this week.
Yeah, I know, but if they play Libbok, it's not like we're going up against a sensational kicker on their side.
Yeah, but
that's an advantage we can have then.
No, exactly. But I think Marcus Smith does have the upper hand there. I don't think he's a bad kicker at all.
Yeah, well,
he's pretty normal.
We're not gonna need our kicker to even kick our kicks to beat you. It's not gonna come down to it. And if Monty has a shocker, oh, guess what? We'll just throw on Andre Pollard and he'll just kick it from anywhere on the field. Like, it's not going to come down to that because Monty Lubbock will have more opportunities to even kick at goal than Marcus Smith. You better hope Marcus Smith kicks his kicks because you need to take every single point that is there for you to take. South Africa, we're not bothered with that. We'll smash you physically. We'll run you left to right to left to right. We'll smash you in the tackles. You better hope that Marcus Smith doesn't get smashed in the first 5 minutes and has to get taken off because then you know we're in attack because he runs the show for you. Because there's nothing else. There's nothing else. All these high players, Henry Slade, Ollie Lawrence, who? They've done nothing.
Stop it.
They've done nothing. Your best player is not injured. Fawe Boso, what? He's gone.
Didn't you say literally 2 weeks ago, like, Ollie Lawrence was brilliant against New Zealand?
Yeah, he did.
I said he was good. But he's done nothing.
Calm down.
Has Ollie Lawrence won a game in the England jersey? It's been good, but nothing's gone into victories. Aiden, can you remember a victory? I can't remember a victory.
I'd have to look back a long way.
Yes, he has.
Mate, he literally started against Italy. Like, watch it.
That's the thing, right? Like, I can, to be fair, right? Banter aside, I can see where Rose comes from. That they'll front up, right? England will be ready for it. The issue is just this team, they've lost so many times to be realistic and say that they have this great chance against the team that will want to say they are the best in the world, the best team to ever play the game. Like, that is what we are pushing for, obviously. We will be ready. We played badly last weekend, so we will front up this time, you know? So, no, it's not a totally new squad, Rose, that's coming on. Our bench and our starters were switched around. So they're just going to re-switch it, and then we're going to smash you like that.
Yeah, I know, but your argument was that your starters are going to be fired up because they didn't play as well as they should have last week, but your bench, who are going to be your starters this week.
I just said the boys that played last week will be fired up.
So the bench.
The boys, everyone.
I would say the one thing you said earlier, like Aiden made a joke, like, are England going to get fired up because they had 5 losses before? But there's a difference between like losing closely to a team who are maybe better and then losing to Australia. Like that, if that doesn't get them to fucking perform, I don't know what will, because that is terrible.
No, I agree. But can we just please accept that Australia played really well last week?
No.
It's not that embarrassing. The New Zealand loss.
It's not that embarrassing. I agree, Rose. It's not that embarrassing.
Shut up.
But it's no, I'm not even bantering. It's not that embarrassing. Like, I think Australia is going to be a good team. I've called it for the longest time. But the way that you lost it by conceding a try in the last minute, when you scored in the last minute, that makes it a bit more embarrassing. But I think overall, Australia was the better team.
You lost the game twice. You let a try in the 76th minute. You scored in the 78th. And then you let a try in the 82nd.
You stop laughing.
That is...
Joseph Sua'ali'i getting player of the match after all that talk from Jake during the week was cherry on top.
Bullshit player of the match, that one.
Jake, I saw an edit of you earlier.
It was a rubbish one. That should have been Tom Wright or Rob Valentini or Angus Bell.
Jake say, Huali'i? Didn't he say something like that?
It was $5 million, very well spent. Like, I know he probably didn't deserve to get player of the match, but he was incredible.
Jake, do you know who he is now?
No, he didn't do anything. He just tapped the ball a couple of times. It wasn't, nothing electric.
I don't think he ever got actually tackled in the game. I've never seen it. Like, I don't think he ever went to ground.
I can't remember seeing him actually make a tackle as well. He just does this little shoulder barge in there, and then he just.
I kept thinking he was a sub. His jersey is so clean. It's not good enough from Huali. He's got to do better than actually.
Oh well. In the end, he actually won the game for Australia by disrupting Mario Torje in the air.
Yeah, how high can that man jump? Holy goodness, that was incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. People, please do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate you guys. Go and follow Rose, 24-hour Rugby Jake, and Aiden, a.k.a. Rugby Ramblings, on TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, well, that's all where you'll really find them.
I'm going to put YouTube. I'm going to put YouTube.
Okay, and Jake's on YouTube as well. Bye-bye.
Yeah.